Vietnam, known for its rich culture, stunning natural beauty, delicious cuisine, friendly locals, and vibrant cities. We're taking you on an incredible 55-day epic train adventure from the vibrant heart of Saigon to the soulful streets of Hanoi. Join us as we explore stunning landscapes, serene beaches, frenetic city streets, and ancient citadels. From the bustling streets of Saigon to the historic charm of Hanoi, this trip is filled with unforgettable moments. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey. It's a sunny Thursday afternoon in Hue City. We are just getting ready to leave our hotel. We're headed to the Hue train station where we're going to pick up a train to the city of Dong Hoi, which is, I think, about 2.5 hours from here. It's a coastal city. We don't know too much about it, but it looks like there are a lot of really beautiful beaches. We're right on the waterfront, so we are looking forward to that. What we're not quite sure about is the train situation. Now, if you saw our previous video, you know that we arrived a couple hours late on the train. I think that has a lot to do with the fact that much of the railway system here in Vietnam is single track, meaning that trains need to time and then stop and pass each other at certain places along the way. So we're not quite sure what our train situation is going to be like today. Could be on time, could be late, we're not quite sure, and we're not actually sure if there's a way to figure that out. So we're going to head to the train station, make sure we're on time. If we have to wait, we have to wait. If not, hopefully we don't have to wait. Then we should get to Dong Hoi in the mid-afternoon sometime. So let's go find out what the train situation is. Well, we're at the train station and the waiting room is very crowded, but we found this waiting room 3 that looks like maybe a newer building that was built more recently that doesn't have many people in at all. So we're in here waiting in the air conditioning. We're not quite sure what the train schedule is. Seems like it's on time, but it's not easy for me to tell. I don't know if there's like a secret way to tell, but we're just gonna wait here, kind of relax in the air conditioning until the train arrives. Then we're gonna board and be on our way. Okay, it's official now. Our train has been delayed 1 hour, at least 1 hour, hopefully not more than that. So good news is we've got this nice, cool waiting room that is getting more crowded, but still seems to be kind of secret. So we're gonna just kind of cross our fingers and hope it doesn't get any more crowded than it is. Well, it started to pour, but the good news is our train is just about to arrive. This must be our departing gift from Hue, the torrential downpour that we experienced the last time we were here. Good news is we're on the train. Oh, we're starting to move. The bad news is it's raining, which means the windows are all wet, which means probably, no outside footage. Hopefully maybe they'll dry up, I don't know, we'll see, but generally when it's raining, not good, so we'll figure something else out. Okay, so we are probably about 30 minutes from the station and we're gonna start to get ready to pack it up, and once we get there we're gonna try to find our way into the city, which hopefully won't be too difficult. We made it to Dong Hoi. Now we're gonna try to find a Grab or possibly a taxi, who knows. All right, we made it to the hotel. Getting a Grab was no problem at all. I'm not always sure about some of these smaller cities and what to expect, but this actually isn't a small city, so Grab was no problem at all. It came in like, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds. We're in the hotel. We're gonna go probably get something to eat and just chill for the night, and then tomorrow we're gonna check out the city.
It's our first day here in Dong Hoi, and we decided to take a walk around after it cooled off a little bit. So we went to the market that's kind of across the street and down a little ways from where we're staying, and we found these ginormous grapes. I can't wait to try them. It was beautiful, beautiful market. Makes me wish I had a kitchen to cook in.
And we also learned, and we didn't plan this, that is the 20th anniversary of the city of Dong Hoi. So we are here. If you can see behind us, there's this big stage. They have a big celebration that I think is planned for tonight. Lots of officials and police and roadblocks to keep cars away. We are over right now at the Citadel, and we also have learned, but we don't quite know, that it's the 70th anniversary of something. I think it might be... Okay, so we think it might be the 70th anniversary of the formation of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam. There's lots of noise behind us just because they're getting ready for this ceremony later, but seems like we've arrived at a really kind of monumental time for the country. So we're gonna walk around a little bit more, kind of explore this area. Probably wrap it up for today because we've been mostly doing video editing, and then start tomorrow really exploring the city. So we've been walking around this area, and we kind of stumbled onto this big, I don't know what you would call it.
It's like an open area, and there are like little pavilions from the 15 provinces
Yes.
in this area.
And this province, Hai Tong, they were like, come over.
They were very, very nice.
So-
and we've got some beer, and we had some delicious food, and so we have some new friends
We
here.
made some new friends.
Cheers!
And we,
Cheers! Cheers!
So that was such an authentic experience, and honestly, I feel like kind of really flattered that someone would just call us over and say, like, have a drink with us, have some food.
It was very kind.
We had I don't know if we said that they offered us food, and I don't know what we had, but it was actually really good, and we had some beer, and they kept giving us beer, and now we're kind of like a little bit
We need more food. Let's say
Inebriate-
that. No. We need a little more food. Ignore him.
yes, but just such a genuine experience that we rarely have, and coming to a place like this, you're much more likely to have an experience like that, where people on the street are just sort of interested in where you're from, genuinely interested in who you are and where you're from. So, wow, what an unexpected evening.
Yeah, very, very surprising. Really great.
So we're heading back to our hotel. At least that's where we think we're heading.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows where we're gonna end up tonight. Good morning from Dong Hoi, Vietnam. This morning I got up very, very early. Came out about 5:30, a little before 5:30, to do a couple of things. One is, this is a fishing city, and there's quite a lot of activity on the water, so I thought I would come out here. We are facing due east, and try to capture the sunrise and see if I could get some of the activity on video. Looks like there are a few fishing boats out here. I don't see a lot going on, but there are these really interesting and kind of unique fishing nets that we've seen across Vietnam as we've been passing by rivers. And since we're right on the riverfront here, I thought that it might be interesting to see if I could get capture these nets in action. Now, I'm not sure exactly what they're designed to catch. I've read that they operate them early in the morning around dawn, and they're used to catch fish. I don't know that for sure, because unfortunately, although I've been able to capture them operating, I haven't seen them actually capture any fish. So I'm gonna see if I can continue to watch and see if they actually are able to catch fish. I believe they use basket boats to go out and harvest them, because I think I've seen some folks working on the nets, but I haven't actually seen them successfully catch anything. So perhaps I'm looking at the wrong time. I don't know, but it's very interesting how they go up and down in the water. Stephanie and I have been looking at them, and we see them one moment, and then the next moment they're gone. They've just completely vanished. And now I've successfully actually captured them on film. I'm going up and down. So yeah, it's kind of interesting thing. Now I'm getting hungry, and it's starting to get warm. So I'm gonna go grab some breakfast, and then we're gonna head back out this morning and start to visit a few parts of the city. It's a windy morning here in Dong Hoi. We're starting out our day by heading over to the Citadel.
where we're going to visit the museum, which we hope, is going to tell us a little bit about the history of this city. Now, it's especially interesting because we just learned that it's the 20th anniversary of the founding of Dong Hoi officially as a city. So let's head over and check out the museum. So I think the Citadel is once where the ancient part of the city, or at least an older part of the city, was located, because it looks sort of like a fortress. You can see from kind of an aerial view that it is in the shape of a fortress, and then around the perimeter is a moat. So our plan is to visit the museum, and then we're going to take a little walk around the perimeter area because it's a really nice walking trail. So the other evening we were here for the 20th anniversary celebration of the city, and behind me you can see they've now cleaned up that massive stage that they had, and right in front of us is the museum. So we're going to go ahead and head in there and see what it's all about inside.
The museum surprised us with the amount of information and the quantity of translated text. Over 3 floors we learned about the province of Quang Binh, which is where the city of Dong Hoi is located. Quang Binh is considered north-central Vietnam. We learned that the continental plate is quite wide off the coast, resulting in a very large and diverse quantity of sea life. A thriving fishing community developed as a result of this abundance. Over 3 floors, the museum recounted the history of Quang Binh province, the tragedy of war, and how the people of this area have rebuilt their community. We were intrigued by the ethnic diversity described in this region, and a quote attributed to Ho Chi Minh that reads, "Our brotherly ethnic people, in order to progress and develop our culture, must eliminate the discriminations between ethnic groups, unite and love each other like brothers and sisters."
One of the reasons we like to go to local museums, besides just learning about the local culture, is to see things from a different perspective. As Americans, we're not necessarily taught a lot of Asian history in general. It's more from a European perspective, or American, obviously. So it's really interesting just to see different views and different information.
So next up, we've already made it across the street, and we're going to go visit this very, very large Ho Chi Minh monument that's right behind me. So we've made it up to the Ho Chi Minh monument here, and it was a little difficult getting information about what all of this represents, but from what we gleaned, this is a representation of a time when Ho Chi Minh visited the Quang Binh province, which is where we currently are. Now, I'm not sure what these giant tablets are that are to my left and right, but if you know, we'd be very interested. We'll probably do a little bit more Googling and see if we can find out. But if you would leave a comment, we'd be interested to know what they represent, because they obviously have an important sort of cultural and historical significance, and probably kind of sum up this monument. Behind the monument is a park, and we're going to go check that out next. Okay, so we've made our way through the park, and now we're actually trying to figure out how to get outside of the Citadel wall so we can walk around the moat. And it seems like that may actually be easier said than done. So we're going to start exploring and see if we can figure out how to get there without walking 1 or 2 kilometers. We're trying to avoid that. So Stephanie, what do you think so far about the city?
I like it. It's small enough that I feel we can explore it, but it's not overwhelming, and the people seem pretty nice.
Yeah, I think the one thing that's maybe a little bit more challenging is that there's fewer people here who speak English. So especially when you're going to places to eat, with the exception of like a Jollibee, when you're going to places to eat that are more local, you kind of have to go in, I think, prepared, kind of knowing what's on the menu, because sometimes it can be really hard to translate, especially if you don't know what the item is. We ran into that in Hanoi with this one. You would think it would have been easy, like a pho restaurant, but we could not for the life of us figure out what was on the menu. And we actually went in thinking, oh, this isn't going to be too difficult. So we typically come kind of prepared, knowing what's on the menu, usually using like Google Maps to search a place. That's probably the most difficult thing. But yeah, everybody here, I think the main difference with this city is there are not a lot of tourists. So there are not a lot of people here trying to get the attention of tourists to do touristy things. It's just a much more comfortable, relaxed feeling. And there are just far fewer people here in general, so it's not as busy a city as well. All right, we had to walk a bit further than I think either of us would have liked to get outside of the Citadel walls, but we did find a way to do that. We're just gonna kind of take our time and walk around the exterior. There's lots of plants and things out here, flowers. I think they did a really nice job of dressing up this area. It looks really cool. We'll see if it continues around the direction we're going, but this will get us more or less heading back to our hotel, and probably our next destination will be either another site or lunch. So I've been trying to figure out when this citadel, this fortress, was first built, and honestly I've been unsuccessful. But from what we learned in the museum, I think this was just sort of a strategic place with some important fortifications at one point, and then it just sort of built up over time. So it's not like it was built in a certain date. It became a fortress, and then it was built upon and expanded upon, and then somebody built a moat. And I don't really know what the dates are, but it's kind of like all historical buildings. It didn't just appear one day. It was built up over many, many years. In fact, very likely many hundreds of years, this place has been a significant fortress. You know, this area is really, really well manicured, and especially because we're sort of at the back of the Citadel. I mean, I don't know how many people walk through this area, but it's like a really pretty garden. They've done a really nice job here. And I think there's been a pretty big investment in Dong Hoi. We've noticed there are some newer areas of the city that are, I guess we want to say kind of built out but almost abandoned. So there are hotels that we've seen that look like they're partially built but almost in an abandoned state. And we're guessing that possibly COVID had a big impact on this area, because it looked like there were some really big plans. We can see some of the riverside has some nice parks and things that were developed, but then there's not a lot of buildings that have been built up. So walking around this area, it's just really nice to see how well this Citadel area, the moat especially, is really well kept up, and the flowers and everything. It's just a really nice place for someone to take a walk. I don't know how many people take advantage of it here, but it's nice as a foreigner coming here to just be able to walk around this really old-looking Citadel wall and enjoy the scenery that's around it. I'm so amazed at these trees that are just growing out of the wall. I mean, I guess like a seed just sort of fell here at one point, but these roots are just massive, and they go all throughout the wall and then down, it looks like into the ground. I don't know how this stuff forms, but it's pretty cool. Okay, so we have completed our walk around most of the Citadel. I'd say, we probably walked around 75% of it.
Yeah.
As days go, this is actually one of the best days to be outside, but I'd say that it's never a great day to be outside in the summer. I mean, it's averaging about 5 degrees above average, which It's quite warm. I think we're today at about 95 degrees and what, 50%? Did you say 50% humidity?
It was 57% humidity and 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's 30 something Celsius.
Yeah, 30.
Two?
Let me check. 35.
Oh,
Currently
35.
35. But there's a nice breeze out and there's enough cloud cover that it's blocking the sun. So we've actually been able to get out and do quite a bit more than I think we're normally used to doing on a day like today, which is great. We've been very productive. I think we're gonna go try to hit one more site and then probably break for lunch. So we've arrived at what is probably going to be our final destination for today, or at least until we take a break, which is the Quan Bin Quan, which you can see behind me. It is a fortification that is from, I think, the Nguyen Dynasty. It was built around 1639, and that is about all I know about this really magnificent, what appears to be a gate, probably part of an older fortification. But what's cool is you can walk up to it and actually walk onto it, which is what we did. It's really kind of pretty. I mean, it just has that old vibe. Unfortunately, we just couldn't find a lot of information about it, but again, it's probably about 400 years old, so kind of cool that it's right in the middle of the city and they've preserved it. Hello, xin chào. So we got up early this morning to take a walk down to the Nhat Le Park, which is on the Nhat Le River here in Dong Hoi. Now it's very early, it's a little after 5:30, and of course it's Vietnam, so it's very busy. Lots of people out exercising, just enjoying the outdoors, and we're going to walk around and take a look at all the action out here. Tam Tua Church, built in 1886, was destroyed during the war in 1965. It was considered to be one of the most beautiful churches in Vietnam. It now stands as a somber testament to the destructiveness of war, but also underscores the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring hope for a more peaceful world.
So Chris had to do a little convincing for me to get up this early to come out, but it was totally worth it. It's really nice to see people out because normally in the heat there is no one outside except us. And the river's really nice. It's very calm. It's low tide right now, so it's just got like a different vibe to it. And it's really kind of nice. I'm glad we came out, but he owes me some coffee now. So it's our last night here in Dong Hoi. We decided to come out here and enjoy the evening next to the river. As you can see, there are a lot of lights behind us, a lot of seafood restaurants. We really enjoyed our time here. It's one of those places that it's a bit cliche to say, but it's kind of a hidden gem. It's just such an authentic place. Yeah. And we really had a memorable experience here.
Thanks for joining us in this video. Stay tuned for our next bit of train adventure. Please give us a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one.